Mr. Vatanen, for nearly a decade, NATO and European Union, they have been working on establishing a strategic partnership on crisis management. But so far, this partnership has not, let's say, not lived up to its expectations on either side. Will we do better in 2020? Be honest.
Well, good morning. Yes, exactly. Good morning, everybody. Well, why do you ask such an easy question? Why do I have to answer to that? Well, I happened to hear the keynote speech of Henry Levy, Monsieur Henry Levy, and he didn't use, like a Frenchman says, il n'a pas utilisé langue de bois. He didn't, well, that's why, he didn't use official language. He was pleading for justice, for international rights. He was really pleading for a better world. And if I may continue a little bit in the same register, because we have to be, we are like running in a forest. If you run in a forest, I think we Finns, we know what it's like to run in a forest. You don't look at your feet. If you look at your feet, you will tumble. You have to look far away in order to stay upright. You need to know where you are going in life. And unless you don't know that, how can we, in everyday politics, take the right measures? So, EU, what is our raison d'être? It is to build peace. It is to build peace. That's why EU was born. And when you think about our mosaic composition, which it's a unique in the world, we don't divide the world. We could go to any crisis spot, but because our 27-country composition, we could be a doctor, we could be a referee, but without the military capacity, we are like a barking dog without teeth. So how do we equip ourselves with the military capacity? Because without that, we cannot be strong in the world stage. That is clear. And of course, the obvious answer is why to go fishing too far? Because 94% of European citizens belong to NATO already. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? And of course, now when Mr. Sarkozy has brought France back into full cooperation with the NATO, obviously the answer is that we have to activate the European end of NATO. Because it's European end of the NATO and the EU, it's the two sides of the same medal. Just the question is, as you asked, how fast are we continuing? Because the soft power, unfortunately, I know what the speed is all about, but the soft power also means, unfortunately, slow power. What does slow power mean? That means more human suffering. So we have to care for the people, even if they don't vote for us. So it's time that we come to our senses when we have a unique opportunity with the France coming back into NATO properly, and with Mr. Obama being now who is inspiring hope. So it's now or never we have to admit that, European end of NATO and the EU is one of the same thing.
You're from Finland, I have to say that, because while I was Googling about Finland and security affairs and stuff like that, I was finding there's a Nordic approach. Could that be something, a Nordic approach to partnership and engagement with the neutral and non-aligned countries?
Well, in all honesty, I mean, I'm proud of being a Finn, I think in a healthy way. I would like not to think myself as a nationalist, but somebody patriotic. And patriotism is totally different from nationalism. Nordic countries are taken as an example on various fronts, whether it's social welfare and democracy and so forth. But we still, like Finland and Sweden, along with Ireland and Austria, we are still so-called non-aligned countries. Now it is true that the Nordic defense forces are now starting to work together because we are simply running out of money. We haven't got means to meet the current criteria, what the modern weaponry is and costs. But really, the real answer is that we don't remain non-aligned, because non-alignment is a Cold War term. What are we non-aligned from? Surely we have to be allied with other democratic peacemakers. That's what the real alliance is. And the answer to that is that we should join NATO.